The front door splintered under the force of a furious kick, and Sienna's heart stopped as she saw the spray-painted slur glaring back at her in crimson letters. "Get out, Dykes." Jordan, her wife of 3 years, clutched her hand so tightly it hurt, whispering, "This is our home, we're not running." But as the sirens wailed in the distance, summoned by their homophobic neighbor yet again, Sienna wondered if love could truly survive in a place poisoned by hate. Sienna had always dreamed of a quiet life in the suburbs, the kind you'd see in those glossy real estate magazines. Manicured lawns, friendly waves from porches, and the faint hum of barbecues on summer evenings. Growing up in the bustling chaos of New York City, she'd craved that stability, especially after meeting Jordan Reyes at a poetry slam in Brooklyn 5 years ago. Jordan, with her sharp wit, warm brown eyes, and unyielding passion for social justice, had swept Sienna off her feet. They married in a small ceremony on the Hudson River, surrounded by friends who cheered louder than the city traffic. Now, at 32 and 30 respectively, they'd pooled their savings to buy a cozy 2-story house in Oakwood Heights, a middle-class neighborhood in suburban Chicago. It was supposed to be their forever home, but forever felt fragile from the start. Their neighbor Robert Bob Harlan, a retired factory worker in his late 60s, made his disdain clear the day they moved in. Bob lived alone in the house next door, his yard a testament to neglect, overgrown weeds and a faded American flag flapping listlessly from a pole. He'd watched the moving truck with narrowed eyes, arms crossed over his beer belly. When Sienna and Jordan introduced themselves with a basket of homemade muffins, Bob's response was a grunt. "Didn't know they were selling to your kind," he muttered, slamming the door. First it was just snide comments. Bob would yell across the fence when they held hands in the yard, "Keep that filth inside." Or he'd blast conservative talk radio so loud it drowned out their evening dinners on the patio. Sienna, a graphic designer who worked from home, tried to ignore it. Jordan, a high school teacher advocating for LGBTQ+ inclusivity in curricula, urged patience. "He's from another era," she'd say, squeezing Sienna's shoulder. "We change hearts one at a time." The harassment escalated subtly, like a storm gathering clouds. One morning, they found their mailbox stuffed with religious pamphlets decrying the sin of homosexuality. Jordan laughed it off, but Sienna's stomach twisted. Then came the anonymous complaints to the city about their noisy dog, they didn't own one, or illegal garden lights. Fines trickled in, draining their budget. Bob's smirks from his window confirmed his involvement. The real turning point hit on a crisp autumn afternoon. Sienna was raking leaves when Bob stormed over, face red as a beet. "You two are ruining this neighborhood," he bellowed. "Decent folks don't want to see your perversion." Jordan, hearing the commotion, rushed out. "Perversion? We're just living our lives, Bob. What's your problem?" His eyes bulged. "My problem? I fought for this country in Vietnam so people like you wouldn't corrupt it." He spat on the ground, inches from Jordan's feet. Sienna stepped between them, her voice steady despite the fear. "Leave us alone, or we'll call the police." Bob laughed, a harsh bark. "Go ahead. Cops are my buddies from the lodge." He turned and lumbered back, but not before muttering a slur that cut like glass. That night, as they lay in bed, Jordan traced patterns on Sienna's back. "We can't let him win," she whispered. Their love had always been a quiet rebellion. Stolen kisses in public parks, holding hands defiantly on subways. But here, in their supposed sanctuary, it felt like a war zone. The community was a mixed bag. Oakwood Heights was diverse. Families from all walks, young professionals, retirees. Some neighbors smiled politely. Others averted eyes. Mrs. Patel next door brought over curry and said, "Ignore the old grump." But the block's unofficial leader, Karen Ellis, a PTA mom with a minivan full of kids, seemed neutral at best. "Bob's harmless," she'd say at neighborhood meetings. "Just set in his ways." Sienna started documenting everything, photos of the pamphlets, recordings of the yells. Jordan reached out to a local LGBTQ+ support group, but progress was slow. Then one evening, as they hosted a small dinner for friends, Bob called the police, claiming a loud party disturbing the peace. Officers arrived, lights flashing, embarrassing their guests. The cops, familiar with Bob, dismissed it as a misunderstanding, But the damage was done. I feel exposed, Sienna confessed later, tears streaming. Jordan pulled her close. We're stronger together. Remember our vows? Through every storm. But storms brew betrayal. Unbeknownst to them, Karen had been Bob's confidant, sharing his views in whispered porch chats. She feared controversy disrupting her perfect suburbia. Little did Sienna and Jordan know the real conflict was just beginning. As winter blanketed Oakwood Heights in snow, the harassment intensified, turning their dream home into a fortress. Bob's tactics grew bolder. Slashed tires on Jordan's car. Anonymous hate mail with threats like "watch your back." Sienna installed security cameras, capturing Bob lurking near their property line at odd hours. They filed a police report, but the officer, a grizzled veteran named O'Malley, shrugged. "Words ain't crimes, ladies. Unless he lays a hand on you, my hands are tied." Jordan's school life suffered too. Whispers started among parents after Bob spread rumors at the local diner. That teacher's indoctrinating our kids with her lifestyle. A petition circulated to review her curriculum, spearheaded by Karen Ellis. Jordan faced her principal, defending her right to teach inclusivity. "This isn't about me," she argued. "It's about the students who need to see themselves represented." At home, tension simmered. Sienna, usually the optimist, snapped more often. "Why did we move here? We could have stayed in the city." Jordan, ever the fighter, rallied. "Because we deserve this life, Sienna. Suburbs aren't just for straight couples." One snowy evening, they attended a neighborhood holiday party at the community center, hoping to build bridges. Smiles greeted them. Mrs. Patel hugged them warmly, and young couple the Lius shared stories of their own immigrant struggles. But Bob was there, nursing a punch, glaring. Karen pulled him aside, but later Sienna overheard her. "They're pushing too hard, Bob. It's upsetting the balance." The betrayal stung when it surfaced. Karen, under pressure from Bob, had anonymously tipped off a local conservative blog about a lesbian agenda invading Oakwood Heights. The article went viral in right-wing circles, doxing Sienna and Jordan's address. Suddenly, their inbox flooded with hate emails, and strangers drove by honking slurs. Jordan confronted Karen on her doorstep. "How could you? We thought you were a friend." Karen's face paled. I didn't mean for it to go this far." Bob said it was for the kids' sake. Tears welled in her eyes, but Jordan walked away, heart heavy. The emotional toll mounted. Sienna's design work faltered. She'd stare at blank screens, replaying the hate. Jordan lost weight, her usual fire dimming. In quiet moments they'd reaffirm their love. Cooking together, dancing in the kitchen to old jazz records. "You're my anchor," Sienna would say, kissing Jordan's forehead. But the high drama peaked on New Year's Eve. As fireworks lit the sky, a rock shattered their living room window, glass spraying like confetti. Attached was a note. "Last warning." Panicked, they called the police. This time evidence was clear. Cameras caught Bob's silhouette. O'Malley arrested him, but Bob's bail was quick, thanks to lodge friends. The neighborhood buzzed. Whispers turned to debates. Was Bob a bully or a victim of woke culture? Sienna and Jordan, shaken, turned to the LGBTQ+ group for legal aid. A lawyer, Mia-chan, took their case pro bono. "This is harassment, plain and simple. We'll file for a restraining order." As court dates loomed, fissures appeared in the community. The Lius organized a vigil outside Sienna and Jordan's home, candles flickering in the snow. "Love is love," their sign read. Mrs. Patel baked pies, rallying others. Even some of Bob's old friends hesitated. Karen, racked with guilt, knocked on their door one night. "I was wrong," she admitted, voice trembling. "I let fear blind me. Can you forgive?" Jordan paused, then nodded. "Forgiveness starts with action. Help us change this place." The community's shift began subtly. A petition supporting Sienna and Jordan, countering the hate. Social media threads exploded with stories of similar struggles, drawing allies from beyond Oakwood Heights. Yet Bob doubled down, ranting at a town hall. "They're destroying traditional values." His isolation grew, mirroring the hate he'd sown. Through it all, Sienna and Jordan's bond deepened. In the quiet after storms, they'd talk dreams. Adopting a child, traveling. "We've got each other," Jordan said. "That's our victory." But victory felt distant as the trial approached, promising more drama. The courtroom in downtown Chicago was a stark contrast to Oakwood Heights' cozy streets. Cold marble floors, echoing voices, and the weight of judgment hanging in the air. Sienna and Jordan sat hand in hand on the wooden bench, Mia-chan beside them flipping through notes. Bob, across the aisle, looked smaller in his ill-fitting suit, his lawyer arguing free speech against the harassment charges. The trial unfolded like a drama series, each testimony peeling back layers of prejudice. Neighbors took the stand. Mrs. Patel described Bob's rants as unneighborly poison. The Lius shared how their son, questioning his identity, found hope in Sienna and Jordan's visibility. Even O'Malley admitted, it crossed the line from words to actions. Karen's testimony was the bombshell. Tearfully, she confessed her role in the blog tip-off. I betrayed them out of cowardice, she said, avoiding Bob's glare. But seeing their strength, it changed me. The judge nodded, the room murmuring. Bob's defense crumbled. His own words recorded on camera damned him, slurs, threats. When he testified, his voice cracked. I just wanted things like they used to be. Before all this change. But the jury saw hate, not nostalgia. Sienna spoke last, her voice steady. We didn't choose this fight. We chose each other. Bob's actions stole our peace, but they won't steal our love. Jordan squeezed her hand, pride shining in her eyes. The verdict: guilty of harassment and vandalism. Bob faced probation, community service, and a restraining order. As handcuffs clicked briefly for processing, he looked defeated, muttering apologies to no one. Back in Oakwood Heights, the fallout rippled. Bob's house went quiet. He avoided eyes, shuffling to his mandated therapy sessions. The community, galvanized, formed an inclusivity committee. Karen chaired it, organizing pride events and workshops. Redemption starts somewhere, she told Sienna over coffee. But healing wasn't linear. Sienna battled anxiety, jumping at shadows. Jordan threw herself into work, advocating louder. Their relationship strained under the stress, arguments over small things like who forgot the groceries. One night, after a heated spat, Sienna stormed out, walking the snowy streets. She ended up at the community center, where a support group met. Strangers shared stories of resilience, echoing her own. Returning home, she found Jordan waiting with hot cocoa. I'm sorry, Sienna said. This mess shook me. Jordan pulled her into a hug. Me too. But we're rebuilding. Us and this place. Spring brought renewal. Flowers bloomed in their yard, symbolizing fresh starts. The neighborhood picnic became a turning point. Tables groaned with food. Kids played tag. Bob attended reluctantly, part of his service, helping set up chairs. He approached Sienna and Jordan hesitantly. I was wrong, he grumbled, eyes downcast. Saw a therapist. Learned about my own fears from the war, losing my wife. Projected it on you. Jordan extended a hand. Apology accepted. But change takes time. Bob nodded, a ghost of a smile. Fair enough. The moment was human, flawed, hopeful. Not instant forgiveness, but a step. Sienna felt a weight lift, whispering to Jordan. We did it. Their love, tested by fire, emerged stronger. They planned a vow renewal, inviting the whole block. Laughter filled their home again, dreams of family on the horizon. Yet, drama lingered in subtle ways. Whispers of lingering bias, external threats from online trolls. But the community stood vigilant, a shield forged in unity. As summer approached, Sienna designed posters for the first Oakwood Pride event. Jordan taught workshops inspiring youth. Their story spread. Local news featured them as symbols of progress. In quiet evenings they'd sit on the porch, hands intertwined, watching fireflies. From hate to this, Sienna mused. Worth every tear. Jordan kissed her. Our love changed everything. The path ahead wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, paved with resilience, romance, and a community's awakened heart. With the trial behind them, Sienna and Jordan dove into rebuilding. But scars don't fade overnight. Sienna's graphic design business boomed. Ironically, after their story went public, clients sought her for inclusive branding. Jordan's school embraced her fully, even awarding her for advocacy. Yet, nightmares plagued Sienna. Shattered glass, hateful words. Therapy helped, but vulnerability lingered. Bob's transformation was gradual. A subplot of redemption. Assigned to volunteer at the LGBTQ+ center. He grumbled at first, stacking chairs silently. But stories he overheard. Youth rejected by families, elders isolated. Chipped at his walls. One day, a young man shared a Vietnam vet's coming out tale. Bob listened, then shared his own losses. A son estranged, a wife gone to cancer. Hate filled the void, he admitted later to his therapist. Karen became an unlikely ally, her guilt fueling action. She hosted book clubs on empathy, inviting Sienna and Jordan as guests. "You two are heroes," she'd say, eyes earnest. The block transformed. Rainbow flags dotted lawns. Potlucks celebrated diversity. But betrayals echo resurfaced when an old friend of Bob's, a lodge buddy named Frank, stirred trouble. Frank, hearing of Bob's capitulation, rallied a small group of holdouts. They picketed the Pride event planning meeting. Signs reading "Protect Traditional Families." Sienna's heart sank seeing them. Reminders that hate persists. Jordan confronted Frank outside. "This isn't about tradition, it's fear." Frank sneered, but Bob, overhearing, intervened. "Enough, Frank. I was like you, blind. These women taught me better." Frank stormed off, but the group dissolved. Bob stand a quiet triumph. The emotional core deepened between Sienna and Jordan. On their anniversary, they escaped to a cabin in the Wisconsin woods. No neighbors, just nature. By the lake, under stars, Sienna proposed again, sort of. "Marry me every day?" she asked, slipping a new ring on Jordan's finger. Jordan laughed, tears glistening. "Always." They talked futures. Adoption papers filed, dreams of a child filling their home. Romance bloomed in simple acts. Notes left in lunchboxes, slow dances in the rain. Back home, the Pride event loomed as climax. Oakwood Heights first. Parades, booths, music. Sienna designed the logo. A heart woven with community threads. Jordan emceed, her voice ringing with passion. Drama struck the night before. Vandalism at the venue, banners torn, paint splattered. Suspicions fell on Frank's remnants. Police investigated, but the community rallied overnight. Repairs done by dawn, stronger than before. The day dawned bright. Crowds swelled, neighbors, allies from Chicago, even media. Bob manned a booth, awkwardly handing out pamphlets on allyship. Karen's kids waved flags. Sienna and Jordan led the march, hands raised. In the crowd's roar, Sienna felt catharsis. "This is our win," she whispered to Jordan. Speeches followed. Youth thanking them for visibility, elders sharing histories. Bob spoke haltingly. "I was the problem. Now I'm part of the solution." Applause thundered. As dusk fell, fireworks lit the sky. Symbols of explosion turned celebration. Sienna and Jordan danced under them, lost in each other. But life's not fairy tales. Post-event, threats trickled in, online harassment. They fortified, but it tested bonds. One argument escalated. Sienna wanted to move. Jordan insisted on staying. "Running gives them power," she said. Tears flowed, but reconciliation came in dawn's light. "Together anywhere," Sienna conceded. The community's rise cemented change. Bob reconciled with his son, inspired by Sienna and Jordan. Karen mentored others. Oakwood Heights became a beacon. Articles hailed it as, "From hate to harmony." In their yard, planting a garden, Sienna reflected. Love's quiet power outshines hate's noise. Months blurred into a rhythm of normalcy, laced with newfound purpose. Sienna and Jordan's home buzzed with life. Friends dropping by, laughter echoing. Adoption progressed, home visits, paperwork. They chose a profile. A spirited girl named Mia, 8, from foster care. "She reminds me of us," Jordan said, eyes soft. Bob's evolution continued. He joined the inclusivity committee, sharing coffee with Sienna. "Never thought I'd apologize properly," he said one morning. "But thank you for not giving up on folks like me." Sienna smiled. Everyone deserves a second chance. Karen's family integrated fully. Her daughter came out as bi, finding safety in the changed neighborhood. Frank, he moved away, a footnote in their story. Yet drama's shadow lingered in unexpected ways. A national news segment on their journey brought acclaim and backlash. Protests formed outside town, small but vocal. Security tightened, but Sienna and Jordan stood firm, speaking at rallies. "Our love isn't political," Sienna declared. "It's human." The emotional depth hit peak during Mia's arrival. The girl with wide eyes and a backpack of dreams stepped into their home. "Two moms?" she asked shyly. "Two moms who'll love you fiercely," Jordan replied, kneeling. Mia's adjustment brought challenges, night terrors, trust issues. Sienna and Jordan navigated with patience, their bond a model. Family game nights, park outings, building memories. One evening, as Mia slept, they reflected on the porch. "From harassment to this family," Sienna marveled. Jordan leaned in. "Our love sparked it all." The community's triumph shone in annual events. Oakwood Pride grew, drawing thousands. Bob emceed one year, his voice strong. "I was lost in hate. This place found me." Redemption arcs intertwined. Karen's husband, once silent, advocated publicly. The Liu's son thrived, out and proud. But life's humanity includes loss. Bob's health declined, old war wounds. In his final months, Sienna and Jordan visited, sharing stories. "You changed my fate," he whispered. His passing was peaceful, funeral packed with those he'd once alienated. In eulogy, Jordan spoke. "Bob taught us forgiveness heals both sides." The story's end wasn't tidy, but profoundly human. Sienna and Jordan's love endured, romantic gestures amid chaos, like surprise picnics or whispered affirmations. Years on, Mia graduated high school, her speech thanking her moms. "They fought for love so I could live it freely." Oakwood Heights stood as testament. Communities rise when individuals do. In their golden years, Sienna and Jordan traveled, hands linked. "What a ride," Sienna said, watching sunsets. Jordan kissed her. "And it's not over." Their tale, a blend of drama, emotion, romance, echoed. Hate may harass, but love with communities help transforms fates.